Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again. Here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my yearly review for this year's Walking Dead Season 4 Webisodes. Actually, the third season of Webisodes, but they're the Webisodes for the fourth season of The Walking Dead. So let's do it. Okay, so as always, I will put the link in the description to AMC's page so you guys can go ahead and watch The Oath. It's pretty quick. That's what this one's called, Webisodes Season 3, The Oath. So it's 3 parts. Each part is about 7, 8, and 10 minutes, so you're looking at about 25, 26 minutes of footage for it. So it's sort of like, you know, one episode of a half an hour TV show type thing. I'm pretty sure it's done with a really low budget, so I don't think there's much in the way of dollars to get really big name actors or anything like that. I haven't seen any of these actors in this before in anything else. I don't recall them being well known or anything of the sort. Maybe they are, and I just am ignorant to that, but I haven't seen them in anything, so that is what it is. If you haven't seen it yet before watching the review, go ahead and click the link in the description so you can check it out. For those of you who are in different countries, AMC, I believe, restricts it to North America. So if you're from the UK or wherever else, you may have to search it on YouTube so you can find the webisodes first, and then you'll probably want to watch this review afterwards because it will contain some spoilers for it. Now, it's basically a one-shot, so we're not going to be getting a follow-up to it or anything of the sort like that. We never got a follow-up to the previous seasons, even though the first season wouldn't make sense to do a follow-up to. But the second season of Webisodes, where we had, I think it was Chase, and I forget the female's name, from the storage facility, that was, I really liked those Webisodes. I thought they were great. I thought they were really well done, well shot, and really interesting. I'd like to see what happened to those characters afterwards. So I guess we'll see if they ever end up in the Walking Dead TV series or not. I'd like to see them in it. I think they could make for an interesting couple if they were to meet up with Rick and the group or something of the sort. It'd just be kind of interesting to see what happens with them. This year's is kind of similar, where we have completely new characters. We don't know anything about any of them, and we're watching it wondering, okay, how is this going to tie into the Walking Dead television series? I noticed about maybe halfway through, I was like, oh, that's probably what it's going to be. And spoilers, it actually takes place in the hospital where Rick was in one of the rooms. We don't see him. We don't see Andrew Lincoln or anything of the sort in this one. But it basically is a story that took place while he was in his coma, I assume. Yeah, he had to have been, because of when Paul uses spray paint to mark the cafeteria doors with the don't open, dead inside, which I thought was a pretty good idea to tie that in that way. I thought it was a cool tie-in. It was sort of like the Bicycle Girl one, where it was like, oh man, holy cow, that's Bicycle Girl. That was a really cool reveal when we kind of saw that as we were watching the first season's Webisodes. The second season didn't really tie in that well because it was just like a storage locker, and it's like, oh, it was the Grimes storage locker, so that's how it ties in. I love the Webisodes from season 2 of Webisodes, but it wasn't a great tie-in. This was a better tie-in, that it was in the actual hospital, and you could kind of see the situation that Rick wakes up in being created while these characters are still alive and while they're trying their best to survive. Now, that being said, I felt like the story was very cliche. It's basically Romeo and Juliet with zombies. It is exactly what it is. Essentially, the girl thinks that her boyfriend or partner that she's with or whatever, she basically thinks that he's dead and he's been bitten, which turns out to not be the case. He ends up just actually losing blood and passing out from all the energy of killing all the walkers and trying to survive and everything. So he ends up waking up when he's almost about to die, and has some pretty cool zombie kills. They're okay. The effects are all right. The zombies look, yeah, they're okay, I guess. Not as good as the actual Walking Dead television series or anywhere, even close to that. But it's pretty cool in that regard, I think. But the fact that it literally is just an interpretation of Romeo and Juliet with zombies, it's a good idea, I think, but it was kind of poorly executed in my opinion. Not saying I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was cool to see the tie-in with the hospital and be like, oh, that's Rick's hospital. That's really cool. But the story itself, like basically, like I was saying, they think he's bitten, so they put him in the cafeteria with all these walkers, and he's about to get eaten, but he wakes up and fights his way out, ends up not dying, but then when he comes back, his girlfriend or whatever has basically been given a lethal injection. So, and then at the end, to make a twist, it's all about oaths. So you have the doctor who's there who made an oath basically to anybody that wants to opt out, essentially with all the chaos that's going on and everything, that that she would be there to put them down if they want to, which is pretty morbid, but you know, Dr. Kevorkian type thing, right? That's what she's there to do. That's her oath. And it was kind of a cool sort of like spin that instead of Paul killing Karina, which you think he would have, he keeps his oath for the two of them to stick together, and he pulls out all her teeth and puts her in a straitjacket and brings her with him, basically, which is kind of strange, but at the same time, I mean, we've seen stuff like that happen before with the governor, with Penny, for example, or you know, Morgan with his wife, you know, keeping her around even though she's a walker and not putting her down. Which, you know, I mean, I kind of view that as like a selfish action, so I don't really, you know, I kind of would, personally, I think if they really care about the person, it'd be better for them to put them down. But if they're too selfish and they want to keep them around, then they let them survive as these walkers, which is, you know, I mean, obviously it can't be an enjoyable life to live like that, right? So basically, the doctor was an okay character. I thought her actor was pretty good. Paul's actor was okay, but the Karina's actor, I didn't buy a lot of her lines. I didn't buy a lot of the delivery. I thought it was okay. It was mediocre. It wasn't great. I know it's just webisodes, so we can't expect to see the same kind of thing we see on television series. It's not going to happen. We're not going to see the same quality. We're not going to see the same level of acting. We're not going to see the same budget or anything of the sort. This one for me, it was just okay. I think in terms of order, out of the three, it's not as good as the second one. In terms of it versus the Bicycle Girl one, it's kind of on the same level for me in terms of that. Maybe not quite as good. So by saying that, in my opinion, it's actually the weakest one of the 3 seasons of webisodes. That being said, you know, it is still worth checking out. It's kind of interesting to see some different characters in a zombie apocalypse and how they behave. So, you know, the production it's okay. The camera angles are a little weird here and there. The effects are good. The zombie effects are okay, but I don't know. A lot of it feels like it's rushed, like it's not polished, whereas the TV series is. And overall, I'd have to say I can kind of recommend it, but I wouldn't say it's something you gotta see. It's just okay. So in terms of that, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I think it's just 6.5 being average. You know, it's a little bit below average, even for a web series. The story is a little bit cliche. The production values are not the greatest, and it probably is the weakest season of webisodes. So that said, it's still fairly enjoyable. I mean, it's free content you can watch online. It has some tie-ins with The Walking Dead, so that's cool. So if you're a Walking Dead fan, I think you'll enjoy it. Definitely want to check it out. But I can see at the same time, too, that I don't think it's that well done. It's just okay. Anyway, those are my thoughts on The Oath. I didn't think it was terrible or anything of the sort, just thought it was okay. Let me know what you guys thought about it, and let's talk about it in the comments. I'll call it here. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. This is Trev, and I'm saying peace.